Hello, everyone, and welcome to our spring seminar series course. I think technically this class is going to be canceled for today because of weather, but I'm going to record this and put it on Canvas anyway, so you can watch it at some point before next week. Okay, I just want to give you an overview of the course and the assignments and activities we're going to do. Talk a little bit about the speakers and then give you a very brief assignment for next week. Actually, there's two assignments. Sorry. Okay, so I put this in the syllabus, the course goal. The first two large bullet points are directly from the syllabus. So by the end of the semester, students will be able to discuss different topics related to forest and rangeland stewardship, write efficiently and effectively in the discipline, just meaning like you can use some of the keywords and understand how they're used in different disciplines. Be able to create and deliver a professional introduction. And you know what? I was going to have us do that, and then I decided against it. So ignore that bullet point. Here, we'll get rid of it right now. So it's nowhere in there. There's no assignment associated with it. All right. And then learn some methods and techniques to improve the content and presentation of scientific seminars. And that's really just going to be through observing other speakers and thinking about ways to incorporate their strategies or different strategies as you think about giving a presentation yourself. You will not give a presentation in this class. And so you'll have some assignments to help evaluate how effectively you've done that. But the last bullet point is like, this is really our goal, right? We've got some great speakers that come to CSU all the time. And so this is just a way to help you engage with those speakers a little bit more and learn some of the cutting edge techniques, research findings, what have you, related to ecology and natural resource management. And then I think more importantly, not just learning them, but then thinking about how you can incorporate them in your own careers, because that's where we really learn and improve ourselves and carry that information forward. So that's the real goal. Those other things are like the buzzwords I have to use for, putting together student learning objectives. So, schedule and location of the seminars. Let's go to the Canvas page real quick. There are two places you can find the schedule. Right now, this page, this welcome page, is set up as our home page. I will switch this to be the modules. So the home page, when you go to Canvas, maybe starting later this week or next week, you'll just go directly to the modules page. But on this page right now, you can see this table here as a list of all the speakers. If you go to the modules page, the weekly schedule has that same table. And so, yeah, I think that's all I want to say for now. We'll come back to this table in just a minute as I talk about some other things. All right. Okay, I guess, where did I put that? I guess I'm talking about it later. I'm going to probably repeat myself a little bit. Let me talk about location real quick while we're here. The majority of the seminar talks, or I should say, 6 out of 10 of them, are going to be in MSNR 345, or the Natural Resource Building Room 345, which is where we were supposed to meet today, and we are not meeting there. We combined our seminar series with kind of 3 groups. So forest and rangeland combined with ecosystem science and sustainability, and also combined with the graduate degree program in ecology. So that we kind of, basically what often happens in the spring is that every department has their own seminar series, and then every week there's 2 or 3 speakers that you want to go listen to, and you just don't have time, and you kind of get overwhelmed, or at least I get overwhelmed. And so we've talked about this as being like, it's great that we have so many good speakers, but it becomes a problem to attend them all. And I think the attendance then suffers for any one seminar. So we decided, hey, let's team up this semester and see how it goes. So that's kind of the origin of why we decided to combine with those groups. So If you look at this table on the far left, of course, I have the date of the seminar, who is hosting. So ESS, NREL, again, that's one department that combined with us, hosts some of the speakers. The GDPE hosts others. And then FRS, Forest and Rangeland Stewardship, has hosted another set of speakers. So that's what that column is all about. Here's the speaker that will be coming. I will try to update this with the websites for these speakers. So if you want to go to their website ahead of time to get a sense for what they do, you can. And then here is the room. So again, next week, Bill Parton is going to be speaking in NR 345. So show up in that room next week at 4. And then some of the speakers will be in the Laurie Student Center in the ballroom. So one of the speakers is in the North Ballroom, and the other two, if you go down to March 23rd, Andrea Grover is going to be speaking in the Cherokee room of LSC, and Alonzo a couple weeks later will also be in that room. And then later in the semester, Peter Reich will be in that room as well. So just a heads up that we've got a couple different locations for where we're going to meet. And we'll come back to this last column where you all are listed in just a minute. Okay, so that's the table where you can find out who's speaking and where you need to go to listen and see that seminar. Okay. Grading. So this is a 1-credit class, so it's not going to be a ton of work, and the assignments are just to help you stay engaged and get engaged with the seminar speakers so that hopefully you'll get more out of their visits and their talks that they're giving. It is a pass-fail grade. And yeah, I already said that about the assignments. So let's briefly talk about what those assignments are. And there's 2 assignments associated with each speaker. So I will assign a paper to read for each speaker. And most of the time I will get that paper from the speaker themselves. But if I don't hear back from them, I'll just pick one. You need to read that paper and post a discussion post prior to the seminar. So all of our seminars are on Wednesday afternoon. You need to post your comments about the reading on Tuesday night or by Tuesday night. You don't have to respond to anybody else's discussion post. So I know usually the discussion posts are you're responding to people. The only reason I made it a discussion post and not just an assignment is so that you could see what everybody else posted and what they're thinking about as they're reading the paper. And I think we can learn a lot just from each other, because I'm going to read the paper through my own biased lens, and somebody else is going to read it through a different biased lens. And as we see what everybody else is thinking about and what they picked up on the paper, that helps us get a broader perspective of that particular paper. So when you post your comments on that paper, you'll be able to see everybody else's. Again, there's no assignment, so you don't have to read anybody else's, but they're there if you want to scroll through and just see what people are thinking about. Okay, that's one assignment. Then after the seminar, you're going to have to make another discussion post that's just reflecting on the seminar speaker. And in those posts, hopefully you'll kind of draw on both the reading and the seminar. But of course, that depends on how closely those two things might be related. Okay, let's talk about the post-seminar discussion for just a second. Instead of having everybody give a big long post and then also having you respond to other posts, each week there's going to be a team of about 3 people that are going to be the discussion leads. Those people will have to write a more detailed post, and they have to do it by Thursday night. So speakers on Wednesday, by Thursday night, those people have to make their longer post. Then by the following, I think I've got it as Sunday, so it's not, the next Sunday, everybody else has to respond to 2 posts, all right? So this way, not everybody feels they have to put as much energy, effort, and time into their post every single week. But also, this was suggested to me by somebody else who seemed to think this might work a little better than having everybody put a big long post and there'd be lots of reading and less back and forth. All right. So that's the general idea of that. I'll show you a description of what your role is as a discussion leader versus just a participator. So those are the two things. So you've got assignment due almost every Tuesday, and then almost every Sunday. Each of those, the paper is going to take you, 30 to 40 minutes to read. The discussion post associated with that reading might take 5 or 10 minutes. And then your discussion posts, those are going to take maybe 30 minutes to kind of read through and respond to, something like that. So it shouldn't be a ton of time outside of class. And then, of course, you have to attend the seminar speakers. So hopefully that seems like a reasonable amount of time, and I think those things will help us be engaged and also get to know each other a little bit as we go back and forth in our discussions. Okay, so just a couple things about the discussion posts. As usual, when we're doing online interactions, we need to be really respectful and cognizant of everybody's viewpoint as we make these posts. I do not expect to have any problems with this, but if there is disrespectful comments or inappropriate comments in the discussion post, you just won't receive any points for that particular post. And hopefully, and of course, I would point out to you what was inappropriate or disrespectful about it, and maybe we could have a discussion about that as well, so we can all learn from those experiences. But again, I don't expect to have any problems with that. I think it's going to be a good discussion, and I'm excited to hear everybody's perspective on these papers and seminars. Okay, let me show you where those guidelines are for the discussion. Hold on. Oh, you're seeing all my notifications up here, aren't you? How exciting. All right, you're seeing my view, not student view, but that's all right. So up here on the first module, which is just the overview, there's a discussion post guidelines. So here's kind of how this is going to work, and I actually made some changes to this, so I'll point those out. But this first paragraph just kind of covers what I've already talked about. Here I say for each seminar speaker, I've assigned 5 discussion leaders. We ended up adding more, another class. We combined another class to this. We combined ESS with FRS. And so that gave us more people. And so then I did fewer discussion leaders per post, but now you only have to do 1. Before, you're going to have to do 2 discussion leads. So you get off the hook a little bit. Okay, here's what I expect from the initial responses by the discussion leaders. Again, you're going to have a more detailed kind of reflection of the seminar speaker and their paper and what you learned from that. So the discussion leaders are responsible for starting the discussion based on the week's reading and seminar. For each seminar, I will provide some guiding questions that the discussion leaders will address. But of course, if you have other ideas or ever thoughts or different things kind of came to mind, feel free to talk about those. You don't have to address the things I bring up. Those are just there to help you get started in thinking about what you're going to talk about. I should really turn off my notifications. Okay, so let's see. The next paragraph is not really important. So the other thing that I just want to point out is the discussion for you discussion leaders. I would expect a 2 to 3 paragraph response or reflection on the seminar. So that's going to be a little more detailed. And everybody else's might be a few sentences to a paragraph or 2 as well, depending on how much you have to say. As I mentioned before, those initial responses by the discussion leaders need to be made by Thursday night. Following the seminar. And so here's the way this is, well, let me go to the participatory posts. So then everybody, even the discussion leaders, have to then keep up on the discussion and respond to at least 2 posts, and that's how you'll be graded. I'll look at your post, make sure they're somewhat thoughtful posts and not just pinging a couple words in there. And then you'll get your points from there. So there's some information here on the grading and what I'll be looking for. I don't think I need to go into detail. You can take a look at that before you make your post to make sure you're meeting those guidelines. But again, not too worried about that. I was going to say something and now I forgot. Let's go back to my slides. Okay, so that's about the discussion posts. So because we had a change in plan today, I'm adding another assignment for you, which is, I'm sure you're super excited about. When I told my daughter that I was going to add a discussion post because we didn't meet today, she's like, oh, they're going to love that. So hopefully it won't be too painful. But what I wanted to do today is get to know everybody in the class and have everybody share a little bit about their interests, because we are going to have a nice diverse group as far as our career interests. There's students that are focused on research, and some students that are focused more on conservation and management or policy. And so just knowing what everybody's interest is, I think, makes it more interesting as we listen to the speakers and think how what they're saying might impact different people. So in place of that, I'm going to have you put a discussion post with a little bit of information about yourself, just so we can all get a sense for who's in the class. What I'd like you to do is I haven't made it public yet because I didn't want anybody to see it and wonder what it was, but I'll post it here in a few minutes after I post the video. There will be a new discussion post, and I just want you to put 3 things in there. And each one of these might be 2 to 3 sentences long. That's all you have to do. But tell us about your professional interest or career goals. Are you a researcher and you've got a research topic you're really passionate about? Are you more interested in management or policy and the applied aspect of management practices? If that's the case, tell us about that. What you're most interested in, or maybe what ecosystem you're most interested in. Just give a little sense of who you are professionally and who you want to be professionally. And then, because we want to know about the real people behind those comments, tell us a little bit about your personal interest or hobby, something you like to do that's outside of the professional realm. And then tell us, let's imagine we are not living in the day and age we are right now, and we could travel anywhere we wanted to for spring break. Where would you go? And I like traveling and seeing new places and experiencing new places, so I like to ask questions like that. So respond to those 3 things with a sentence or a couple sentences, and we'll get to know each other a little bit. And I think that's all. Oh, lastly, and most importantly, there is already a reading posted on Canvas. So next week we have Dr. Bill Parton, who will be speaking. And just to give you a little background, so Bill Parton was developed maybe the most widely used biogeochemical model in use today. I don't know if that's true or not, but it certainly had a huge impact on not only modeling, but also the field of ecology and global climate cycles and carbon cycles. So his models have gone on to be incorporated into these really large scale models of how carbon in particular, but other molecules are moving around and being stored in different ecosystems. So it had a huge impact on the field in his modeling career and his overall career. So it's going to be really exciting, I think, to have him talk to us and tell us what he's been working on and thinking about lately. Instead of a paper written by him as lead author, what I did is I put a paper on there that kind of reviews the state of biogeochemical models right now. And I thought that might, like, if you're not familiar with modeling and biogeochemical modeling, this might be a better paper to read to help us get enough information so when he comes to talk, we really can understand what's going on and his perspective. So that's what that paper is about. So read that paper. Respond to the prompts that I have on Canvas by Tuesday night, and then I will see you in room NR 345 next week for Bill's seminar. And please stop by and say hi, because I don't know who you are yet. I mean, I know some of you, but there's others I don't know. So I'll be there. I'll probably be in the front row or second row. Come and say hi so I know who's in the class, and it's always nice to be able to put a face, or at least most of a face, to a name, and we'll start to get to know each other a little bit for the semester. All right, I think that's all I have. I think I always say this at the end. I'm sure I forgot really important information. So if you have a question that I didn't address, shoot me an email and I'll try to respond as quickly as possible. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Take care.